up, everyone? I'm Rachel, aka Ray Ray MUA, and I'm back from the dead. Yeah, I know your girl's been MIA, but if you can tell by my new background, I moved. I packed up a U-Haul and I drove from Minnesota to Orlando, Florida, and it was crazy. You'll hear more about that in a few minutes here, but yeah, the last couple weeks have been pretty insane, but I live here now, so I'm gonna try my damnedest not to lose that Minnesota accent, but you know, I still sprinkled on those Maryland O's here and there, so, but yeah, very sunshiny Florida, although it did start raining as soon as I started filming, so you're gonna hear a little claps of thunder here and there, but that's what you get when you live in Florida, you know, just kind of random ass rainstorms. But yeah, so we're trying to get back on our bullshit, and today this is what we're doing. This is kind of like a very sunshiny, grungy look that I did not plan to go this grungy, but I am here for it. Yeah, so grab your rhinestones, grab your rhinestone applicator, and let's get it going. Alrighty, so like we start with all the rest of them, we're going to start with our skincare. However, since I have moved to the great state of Florida, which is affectionately known as the Sunshine State, we are going to start with some sunblock. And I'll be using the Tula Skincare Protect and Glow Daily Sunscreen Gel. And this is SPF 30. Also, you might be hearing my new roommate dog, Egon, drink some water, so apologies. And because we live in Florida now, or I live in Florida now, you're probably gonna hear some rumbles of thunder because right when I started filming, it started storming. So, super great. So we're gonna start about, we're just gonna try to get used to the lighting as well, but we're gonna start with about that much, size of a nickel maybe. I actually really love this sunscreen. It makes your skin look super dewy. Look at that, lovely. There's a ton of natural ingredients in it. As soon as I rub this in here, I will read them to you, but I feel really bad. Not bad, but I feel a little guilty. I actually have not worn a ton of sunscreen in the past, like during my everyday makeup routine, and that's mostly just because I've lived in Minnesota for the last almost 4 years and I'm always inside. So your girl really never sees the sun, but if I know that I'm gonna be spending a lot of time outside, I will usually throw that on because, you know, people tend to guess my age is around like 26, 27 when your girl's 34, so we wanna keep that up. But so in this yummy sunscreen here, we have probiotics, pineapple and papaya, and a wild butterfly ginger root. Oh, that protects against blue light stress. That's awesome. We love this. Okay, next we're gonna go in with my usual duo, Strobe Cream plus Natural Radiance. Just, you know, a girl can never be too dewy. She can never be too shiny, especially when she's dry. And my skin hasn't played catch up yet with the moisture here. So I still have to do a fair amount of work to keep my skin moisturized, but so go in with a little bit of that amount. So I do the Strobe Cream first with the Natural Radiance on top, and we're just gonna work that in on top of the sunscreen. Now, I still like to use the primer along with the sunscreen because the chief job of the sunscreen is just to protect from the sun. It really, I mean, this has some yummy stuff in it that's gonna help balance out skin tone and everything, but it doesn't really make sure to hold on to the makeup more. So much like with painting a wall, you put on a primer, right? So the chief job of the primer is to make what you put on top of it look better, longer, and to make it last longer. So it acts as adhesive for anything you put on top of it. That's not the sunblock's job. The sunblock's job is to repel. Like, we don't want the UVA, UVB, none of that. So by mixing the 3 together, which I probably could have mixed all 3 together, but I at least wanted to show you how the Tula went on without the other dewy products on top. So this mixed together, you're kind of doing all 3 things, and then we're gonna go on with the foundation on top. Seeing how dewy I am is like absolutely blowing my mind right now. I love this. Okay, so next we're gonna go in with the tried and true Face+Body. And I don't know if I talked about this last time I used it, but so Face+Body has since been revamped. And so there's extra hyaluronic acid in it. And it's a little bit more waterproof. I kind of tested that theory yesterday. I went to Disney Springs. And still at, since it's a Disney property, you still have to wear a mask even though Disney Springs is outside. Ooh, hello, Big Boom. And your girl's kind of a sweaty meatball. I haven't fully acclimated yet, you know, since I was living in the land of perpetual winter. So definitely still getting used to the muggy air, and then having the mask on top of it did not help. But for the most part, it stayed pretty well. I had a bit of some transfer on the mask, but everywhere else, especially my forehead, with the bangs and everything, tends to get a little warm. So the product stayed really, really well, which I was super, super impressed. I mean, I'm always impressed with Face+Body. Hello, I'm obsessed with Face+Body. But super good. And I think I've actually like fully caught up to the shade of N1, which N1 has always just been like a touch, just a touch too dark. But because I layered with such bright like highlights and stuff, it really didn't bother me too much. But so my color back in Minnesota was N0, which I kind of love that it looks like no, my color is no. It's just amazing. But so I think now I'm finally catching up to N1, so which is nice. But I absolutely did still buy N0 because it's perfect. And you never know, I might become a vampire again and just lose all my color. So now that we've worked that in, where did I put my brush belt? I put my brush belt back here. Why would I do that? I don't know. So we're gonna go in with the 170 and then just press the foundation into the skin. Next, we're gonna go in and take care of our brows. So we're gonna start with the spoolie brush and just start cleaning these babies up. Hello, hair. So if you're wondering how on earth I got my ass to Florida, I, with the help of one of my very best friends, Will, who I think there's about to be a big boom. There it is. We packed up all of my stuff, packed it into a U-Haul, including my Mini Cooper on an auto transport behind the U-Haul. And then I drove 24 hours. Not at once because Bo would have killed me. Side note, we're going in with the Brow Styler in Spiked. But we did the drive in about 3 days. So we left on a Thursday. There was a lot of crying because the part of town that I lived in Minneapolis was called Uptown, and the streets are very small, and especially like the side streets that I lived off of, you can park on both sides of the street, and then it's still kind of like two-way traffic. So I'm having to fight with all of that while driving a huge U-Haul, and it's just not conducive to vehicles that size, and then especially like trying to turn into an alley with a Mini Cooper on the back of your car. Super fun. So got that done, and then driving on 35W, which has been under construction for a million years apparently. A Minnesota pals can speak to that. I was driving at one point and there was a tanker truck in front of me, and the tanker truck decided to slam on its brakes because he was gonna pull off to where they were like doing construction. And so if you've never driven a truck with like towing something on the back, whatever you're towing is going to push your car forward, or it's gonna push your vehicle forward. So it makes it difficult and harder to stop. So when homeboy, whatever, when he decided to slam on his brakes, I then had to like white knuckle it and like try not to run into him. So that got taken care of, and then like I think I started to cry. And then Will started laughing at me because I was crying, and then I was like, I don't know if I'm laughing or I'm crying. And then in my rear view or my side view mirror, this like giant semi truck comes barreling up beside me in my blind spot. I start screaming because it scared me so bad. More laughing, more crying. We get around the turn, and then I have to cut across 3 lanes of traffic to take an exit. And so Will's like, what's wrong? And so I go, I have to be over there. And then, you know, just kind of turn on my blinker and then pray for the best. But I did it. We drove to Wisconsin to go to this place called House on the Rock. If you are fans of American Gods, that's the place where we went. And it was crazy. We were in the middle of like Scandinavian Dairyland. I mean, it was just trolls and dairy cows everywhere in the rolling hills of Wisconsin. It was insane. So it was just kind of like, how on earth is there like this wild attraction? And now we're gonna soften the brows. How is there just like this wild attraction in the middle of nowhere? But it did not disappoint. That was like one of the most gnarly experiences probably ever. My only critique was that if you know anything about it, there's like this giant carousel that's there. It's inside. Absolutely stunning. So it's in the middle of your experience, so you hit like your emotional zenith too early, like you peak way too early, and then there's like a whole other section that you have to go through. So I definitely got a little too overstimulated. I wasn't sure that I was gonna see daylight ever again because it's like all inside. Like House on the Rock, like he literally burrowed into a rock. So the outside of the house is a rock face. It's crazy. Also, some of the biggest fireplaces I have ever seen. Do yourself a favor, Google, go on Instagram. It's awesome. Now it's time for cleanup. We're gonna go on with the Studio Finish concealer and our nice little flat brush here. Gosh, I've not talked enough last couple of days, so I feel like I don't know what I'm doing anymore. But yeah, so after we left House on the Rock, we literally drove tip to tip in Illinois. Illinois, you were too long. You were too long. It was actually kind of crazy because it was a little bit of like a memory lane type of thing since I lived in Chicago. So it's just kind of weird to be like, I used to live in this state that we were driving through. But yeah, definitely drove forever. I think it took a full day and a half to get through Illinois. It was crazy. So I mean, we drove for like maybe a little over 7 hours every single day. Because since I had Beau, cats can hold their urine and stuff for like 24 to 48 hours, but that gets kind of chancy because if you are not a cat owner, basically if your cat gets a UTI, it can lead to a death sentence pretty quickly. So I'm a freak and baby my Beau, so did not want that to happen. So We only drove for as long as I felt comfortable for him to like, to not go to the bathroom and to not eat, because once he is in his bag, like once we're in the vehicle, he does not really come out. I am super lucky that I have a cat that's like super chill when we travel, because, you know, we've had cats in the past that were not, I don't know, this travel friendly. But yeah, he just like stayed in his bag, and Bo loves hotel rooms because I actually let him scratch on stuff. And he can hop all over counters and I don't care. So anytime that we can stay in a hotel, he just has a field day. But it was crazy because I looked for hotels that only cater to like pet friendly, or I only looked at pet friendly hotels. And this one place we looked up in Illinois, it definitely said that it was pet friendly, but then I get there and this is after driving all day and I'm tired and I'm annoyed, and there was a sign as soon as we walk in and it said dog by permission, cats, no, and then no cats or whatever. And so I walk up to the window and I'm like, hi, I literally just made this reservation, I have a cat. And then just kind of like gestured to the sign, and she was like, it's $15 to have a cat. And I was like, okay, I mean, seriously, my cat's fine, he only poops and pees in his box, like it's not a big deal. And luckily she was cool, but that hotel room was no good. Not the worst hotel I've ever stayed in, but also not the best either. So yeah. Definitely used to be a smoking floor, even though it was a non-smoking floor. And I mean, like, there were cigarette holes in the comforter, and not to be a princess, but like, you know, you're driving for over 7 hours, like you know, you want to be comfortable. And your girl wasn't super comfortable. Next, we're gonna go in with the False Lash Maximizer to fluff up the brows. But yeah, so after we were done in Illinois, drove to Georgia, stayed in a baller hotel in Georgia. And weirdly, the day after we left, that was actually going to be a travel day, had we not gone to House on the Rock, a huge tornado tore through Atlanta. So glad I missed that. As per usual, we're gonna go in with the 24-hour Eyebase. And we're gonna use, oh no, almost lost the top. That much, a little bit goes a very long way. But this is actually also going to be super helpful now that I'm in a much more humid climate, because this is waterproof and it's definitely going to help stuff stay. I'm like weirdly still dealing with like some dryness up here, like a dry patch. I don't understand what is happening. Like, the weather here is so soupy. There's so much moisture in the air, and I don't know if like my body just hasn't figured it out or what, but like this situation, God, it's like these pimples just turn into moles now. I don't get it. Like, I'm not wearing masks for 9 hours anymore, so why are they still happening? I mean, can someone tell me? I have no idea. I'm actually super excited for this next step because I don't think I've done it yet, but we're gonna be using the Prolongwear Paint Pot and Contemplative State. Look at that gorgeous mustard color. Yes, I know it matches my dress. You know, we love to match. But it's just really pretty. And yes, we all know I love colors that look like baby food, but it's actually a really versatile color, and don't be afraid. I'm telling you, don't be afraid. Now with paint pots, you can use your finger. You can use a stiff brush that kind of mimics the pad of a finger, or you can use a fluffy brush. So I'll be using a MAC 286S brush. So this is a synthetic brush that's duo fiber, so you can use it with wet or dry product. This starts as a cream but dries down as a powder, so it's a little best of both worlds. So we're just gonna pick up a little tiny bit, because remember, it's always best to layer, start with a little bit, and then kind of go from there. And we're just gonna put that on the lid. And I'm keeping it below that brow line here, because I am going to go in with some nylon like I always do, because I'm back on my bullshit. Who am I kidding? I'm forever on my bullshit. But I just want to leave that open. Okay, I'm going to take care of the other side and I'll be right back. Pro tip when it comes to storing these can sometimes dry out if they're set like this. So you can actually keep them upside down, so it will keep the moisture closer to the rim, closer to the top of the product. I actually have mine kind of in a row like this. They're sitting on their side. So we keep more of the moisture again towards the front. You could keep it upside down like that, just the way that I have it organized. They're more like that, but definitely helps. Next, we're going in with our tried and true highlight shade, Nylon, and we'll be using the MAC 239 brush, and we're just gonna pop that right underneath the brow. Next, we're going in with our transition shade. The shade These Bags Are Designer, which is this really pretty mustard shade that's going to go really well with the Contemplative State. So I'm kind of like, I don't know, repeating shades, but this is just gonna be a little bit more impactful, and I'm using a MAC 224. You can just use any kind of fluffy brush, and we're just gonna kind of blend that into the nylon up top. Okay, next we're gonna go in with some shades from the Jaclyn Hill, oh God, the reflection. Cool, oh there we go. The Morphe and Jaclyn Hill Vaults collection, and we're gonna be using some shades from the Armed and Gorgeous. Oh, hi friends, look at you, ooh, there you are, look at that, hello. Anyway, we're gonna be going in with, I'm gonna mix, because, you know, forever on my bullshit, and I'm doing a halo eye, because why would I not do a halo eye, my first video in Florida? So, we're gonna be going in with a touch of Agent and Secure, because why not? So we're just gonna tap a little bit of the Agent, tap a little bit of the Secure, so we've got that covered there. And then we're gonna pop that on the outside. Kind of work that way in, and of course I did it again, I closed it. Just gonna use the mirror from this thing here. Pop that in the middle, or not in the middle. I'm rusty, y'all, you have to excuse me. Pop that on the inner corner here, and we're just kind of layering. But remember, with the halo eye, we're keeping that center open. And do the other side. Next, we're gonna go in with an oldie but goodie, a shade by MAC called I'm Into It, because I am into it. And we're gonna go back in with that same 221, because why dirty another brush? And then we're gonna go in that same outer third area, except we're gonna keep it closer to the lash line this time. I actually like to keep using the same brush, because I feel like there's a little bit of product left over, and it almost kind of makes the color a little bit more blended. Even though there's not like a ton still left on the brush, just if there's a little bit on there, and I am like fully away from that. Oh, gracious me. Aren't you so glad that you're on this learning journey with me? Feel so lucky, don't you? And I love that I just like completely left you all hanging on like my moving story. But anyway, so after Georgia and the tornado that happened, got to Florida. It's been great. My new roomies, Will and Kristen, have been absolutely lovely. Kristen had like a whole smorgasbord of food. I've had heartburn for a week and a half. It's been awesome. But yeah, went to the beach, did some grinding at the beach. That was lovely because I realized I have not been to a beach like the entire time that I was in Minnesota, which is crazy to me. I'm not like a huge beach person, but like once a year I go, so I don't know how that happened. But yeah, and then actually had some family in town, so got to see them. My body still very much thinks it's on vacation, so kind of trying to figure that out. This is actually like kind of taking me out of vacation mode, I think. Just kidding, I'll be here for at least another week. Okay, I went ahead and tight lined my eyes. So next we're gonna go in with the Prep and Prime highlighter in medium and wake these eyeballs up. And we're gonna take our beauty sponge and just press that into the skin. And just kind of sharpen that edge a bit. Next, we're gonna go in with our handy dandy bronzer in Baina Bronze of the 168 and warm this pale mug up. Then we're gonna grab our NARS Kabuki brush. We're gonna go ahead and warm up the nose. Then we're gonna take the sponge gun. Yes, I did that on purpose. Then we're just gonna sharpen that a little bit and just kind of layer that bronzer into the skin. Now we're going in with another tried and true Warm Soul, because why wouldn't I? And we're just gonna use the same 168 as the bronzer, just because, again, some leftover color. It's gonna work it into the cheek anyway. So we smile and work that in here. Now you know what time it is. We're gonna go in and smoke out that lower lash line, which is, you know, my favorite. So we're gonna go in with that 221 Familiar and then just go to town, baby. We're gonna go back in with that I'm Into It along the lower lash line as well. And the last little bit for the face part that we're gonna take care of before the super fun, crazy part is the highlighter. And we're gonna be using the HyperReal Glow Palette in Flash and All, my fave. And then I'm using a Morphe M501 just to take to run across the keys. And we're just gonna pop that on the cheekbone. Make that parenthesis to help drive even more attention to our eyes, more than the last little part's gonna do. Just a nice little frame. We have lovely pictures. Need to add a frame. Just gonna do the tip of the nose, the cupid's bow, chin and the forehead because your girl apparently is not doing enough, so we need to add more dew. Okay, and then we are going to, where did I put it? Hold on. There she is. Then we're gonna go in and set with the Fix Plus. So nice. Okay, so I'm gonna let that dry for a sec, and then I'll be right back, and we're gonna be adding the sparkly. Yay. Okay, so I went ahead and did this off camera because I wanted to make sure I could actually do it. And I did it. So yay, I'm gonna be using the, I think this is the Summer Kit by Get Stoned. It is absolutely gorgeous. I cannot wait to play with these neon ones. I just use some Duo Lash Glue and then this handy dandy thing that I got from Amazon. So you're gonna watch me make some pretty incredible faces. So I'm basically gonna do like I do when I apply false lashes, where I'm gonna hold the mirror down like this so it's easier for me to see. So I'm gonna try not to talk so then I can actually like speed this up. I learned this the hard way. It's actually easier if you put the glue directly on the skin rather on the back of the gemstone. So I'm gonna put a little bit, it's a little farther over, but that's okay. Put a little bit on there. And it's okay that I kind of like take my time because I want the glue to be a little gummy when I put the gemstone on. Come on, guy. All right, so we're gonna pick that up. There we go, pop it on. So I'm gonna do 5 across the base of my lash line. Then we're just gonna do another layer up top. So I did 5, 3, and then 1. If you have a little bit more lid space, you could probably do a little bit more, but because my crease is a little bit deeper set, I can't do much more than that because then it's gonna be hard for me to kind of, you know, open my eye. Just for funsies, why don't we go ahead and add 1 down here. fun. Super fun. Yay. So I'm gonna go ahead and take care of the mascara and I'll be right back. Went ahead and took care of that mop too. So the last little bit that we're gonna do are the lips, and we're gonna start with Chicory Lip Pencil. So let's go ahead and pop that on real fast. Then we're gonna go in with the new Love Me lip color from MAC. If you've not used the Love Me lipstick, it is phenomenal. I think I've used it a few times at this point, but so it's really moisturizing. So there's vitamin E and argan oil in it. Sorry, it's been a minute since I've had to do some product recall. So this is just the really gorgeous liquid version, and so I have actually not played with this yet. So I'm super excited. Ooh, look at that applicator. That's really cool. And this is the color, What a Doll. Love it. Ooh. Oh, that feels really nice. Oh, that's really, really nice. Ooh, I'm a fan. There we have it, friends, the final sunshiny, grungy look. I think the lip really kind of like pushed it into like 1992, but this like shirt, like mini dress that I'm wearing too, cherry on top. Yeah, thanks so much for doing this with me. I hope you guys really enjoyed it. I actually had a really good time doing this. So I'm gonna end this video like I end every video and ask, how did you show up for yourself today? I will go first. So for me, it wasn't necessarily what I've done for myself today. It's pretty much what I've done for myself the last 2 weeks. I honored how I was feeling and I made a change and moved, which was really hard, but I did it. And I allowed myself to ask for help, to try to ask for help anyway, when I needed to. I allowed myself to cry. There was a lot of crying. And I just did it. Like, I can't stress enough, if there's something that you want to do, just do it. And if it takes, you know, approaching it with the audacity of a straight white man, go for it, because that's what I told myself. Can I drive a U-Haul? I don't know, but I'm gonna make it happen because I have no other choice and it's just gonna work out for me, and it did. So yeah, thanks for watching, and God, it's been a while since I've done this, so I'm rusty. But if you could like and follow and subscribe and share and all that good stuff, that would be super marvelous. I'd super appreciate it. Just really kind of beam me out into the world. Super appreciate it. But yeah, thank you so much for watching, and I hope you give yourself grace, and I will see you next time. Bye.